We're only halfway through the year, and 2023 has already delivered some of the biggest blockbuster games we've seen in a while. And these are the top 10 best games of 2023 so far. Kicking us off at number 10, Cassette Beast is not your average monster collecting game. No, not even close. This one is dripping with style and personality. The story revolves around you, the player, who wakes up to find themselves stranded on a mysterious island. You, alongside the other residents, haven't a clue how you got here, but one thing is for certain: everyone wants to go home. And in order to find your way home, you must embark on an epic adventure battling groovy monsters and befriending a charming cast of characters. Featuring some awesome monster battles and a unique twist on how you capture them. You literally record the monsters onto cassette tapes and then transform into them. It's such a delightful way to shake things up and perfectly fits the game's theme. As you befriend some of the townsfolk, you'll unlock the ability to fuse with them, combining into new powerful types of monsters. You can create some truly awesome monsters doing this, and it really adds a layer of depth to the game that the genre desperately needed. The game provides numerous customization features, allowing players to personalize their characters and monsters extensively. These options range from character creation to modifying monsters by applying stickers onto their cassette tapes, granting them access to new abilities. This allows fine-tuning of your monsters, which give you further control over creating that perfect party. If you're a fan of Pokemon and looking for a monster battler that understands what made the original game so special, then look no further than Cassette Beast. It's super funky and easily earns its spot on our list. Sailing its way into the number 9 spot, Dredge is a game that is both relaxing and tense at the same time. You take on the role of a fisherman who takes a local job offer within a strange seaside town. On the surface, this game is a seemingly simple fishing game, but hidden beneath the murky depths lies a Lovecraftian nightmare waiting to be uncovered. Addicting, mysterious, and alluring, Dredge will have you quite simply hooked. The core gameplay loop is centered around accepting job offers and tasks from locals and then venturing forth into the call of the sea to fish and fulfill your orders. As you begin to dive deeper into the game, you'll start catching an array of mutated fish that captivate the locals. The entire time you're playing the game, you have a feeling that something isn't quite right and not everything is quite as it seems. And then, it happens. What happens is for you to discover. You'll want to go into this game completely blind and avoid any spoilers. Trust me, it's worth the experience. Dredge was a blend of two different genres that I didn't know I wanted, but needed. Half melancholic, half disturbing, and fully worth your time investment. The presentation and writing in this game is fantastic and kept me anxiously on the edge of my seat. So if you enjoy fishing games, Lovecraftian novels, or just a really good mystery, then I cannot recommend this game highly enough, easily justifying its spot on this list. Oh, and be careful about sticking around for too long after dark, because you never know what lies beneath. Traveling onto the number 8 spot, Octopath Traveler 2 is a JRPG experience fans of the genre cannot afford to miss. You'll embark on an epic adventure that unfolds through the narratives of 8 distinct tales and perspectives, each with their own wholly unique characters, gameplay mechanics, and stories. For example, my favorite character Ochet's story takes place on an ancient island suffering from an impending calamity. Raised as a huntress, Ochet must call upon the forest to aid her in battle against this forthcoming doom. Her unique gameplay mechanic is the ability to tame wildlife capable of assisting her in battle. However, the forest and her army of tame creatures will not be enough to thwart this calamity. And this is where the game opens up and becomes a true epic. Along the course of their journey, the paths of the 8 travelers become intertwined, and they'll work together in unison to overcome their individual hardships and challenges. The game features breathtaking visuals presented by gorgeous pixel art that incorporates modern tech, and it's just awesome to look at. And I mean awesome. You don't have to play the first game to enjoy this one, as they are completely separated from each other. However, the first game is also excellent and I highly recommend it as well. If you're looking for a classic JRPG experience that meets modern standards, then you should go ahead and play this as soon as possible. Octopath Traveler 2 is a great time and rightfully earns its spot on our list. 2023 has been a wonderful year for remakes, and the first one on our list coming in at number 7 is Dead Space. The original game was one of the best survival horror games, and now the remake is even better. You take on the role of Isaac Clarke, an engineer sent out to investigate a distress call from the USG Ishimura, a giant flagship that was mining a nearby planet. However, when you arrive, you begin to realize something is seriously wrong. You find the crew have succumbed to an infection, turning their corpses into necromorphs, which are disgusting and terrifying aliens that will haunt your nightmares. The gameplay of Dead Space is where the game really shines, requiring you to cut off the limbs of the necromorphs to kill them. Isaac has access to a wide variety of weapons and abilities, such as being able to freeze time and grab and throw objects. You'll be using these often, and they can create some really satisfying moments. For example, you can cut off the claw of a necromorph and send it flying back as a weapon, piercing its skull. It's badass. This creates some of the most grotesque and gory kills you'll see in a game, and it's so damn fun. This remake does the original justice while providing meaningful changes. Some of these changes are obviously enhanced graphics, but more nuanced mechanics such as tighter controls and the addition of side quests really stand out. And make no mistake, this game is scary, really scary. For the best experience, play this one alone in the dark with headphones cranked up and you'll be in for a real treat. Now don't say I didn't warn you though, it's spooky. Whether you're a fan of the original, enjoy survival horror with excellent gameplay, or just looking for a scary good time, Dead Space should be at the top of your list and deserves its spot on ours. Charming its way onto the number 6 spot, Hogwarts Legacy is the Harry Potter game we've always dreamed of. This massive open world RPG is an adventure you won't soon forget. After creating your character, you are placed into the role of a 5th year student who joins Hogwarts late. Except this is no ordinary student. They possess ancient magic which holds the key to unlocking the game's many secrets. Set in the late 1800s, this game serves as a prequel to the book and film franchise and features some last names you know and love, such as the Blacks and Weasleys. As a student at Hogwarts, you'll be expected to attend class and learn different spells and charms, which add to your arsenal of capabilities. In almost a Metroidvania fashion, as you gain access to new spells, you'll also be able to explore different areas within the castle and surrounding areas such as Hogsmeade. This really does a great job making you feel like you're progressing into a powerful witch or wizard. It wouldn't be an RPG without level ups, loot and gear to acquire, and a vast amount of quests and side quests to take part in. Without giving away any spoilers, let's just say the story is also fantastic and keeps you engaged for hours on end. With average playthroughs around 40 plus hours, there's a lot to explore and unpack here. The combat is also dynamic and extremely fun. You'll be weaving spells, casting combos, and for those who want to embrace their darker side, you can also cast powerful curses often frowned upon by the wizarding community. This is one of my favorite games this year, and if you're a fan of Harry Potter, open world RPGs with satisfying puzzles and combat, or just looking for an excellent game to play, Hogwarts Legacy is a no-brainer and a must-play. All of these things and more help earn its spot on our list.
It's Leviosa. Leviosa. Stop.
If you've enjoyed the video so far, make sure to smash that subscribe button for more awesome top 10s. Crawling its way into the number 5 spot, Diablo IV is this year's biggest and baddest ARPG. This is a game I've spent many hours with and can say it seriously kicks ass. The story takes place around 50 years after the events of Diablo III and follows the demon Lilith as she attempts to spread hatred, bringing calamity all across the world. But this is an ARPG after all, and while the story featured in Diablo IV is actually really good, it's a game all about killing a ton of shit and getting piles and piles of loot in return. What separates Diablo IV from other entries in the franchise is the inclusion of MMO-like elements that make the game feel more alive and interconnected than ever before. The world is filled with other players that you can seamlessly team up with to take on random events, world bosses, and of course, dungeons upon dungeons. It makes for an incredible time playing with friends, and this is a game that's easy to pick up but hard to put down. Featuring a robust endgame and PvP, this is a game where you can spend countless hours racking up playtime and not get bored. Each class in Diablo IV feels distinct from one another and encourages multiple playthroughs and enhances the overall replayability. Now let's talk about the star of the show, the loot. There's few things in gaming that trigger dopamine responses quite like getting a legendary drop after defeating a challenging boss. It's a thrill every single time and a rush I cannot get enough of. Few games feel this rewarding to play. Oh, and it's a return to form in regards to the visual aesthetics of the game as well. No more cartoony look and feels closer to Diablo 2, which is something most fans have been yearning for. It's time to go to hell, because Diablo is back in a triumphant return to form. The fact that this is number 5 on our list and we're only halfway through the year speaks volumes about the quality of games we've had released so far. And the list coming at the end of the year is going to get spicy.
Say, man, you got some of that legendary loot, man. I heard you got that loot.
Kicking ass onto the number 4 spot, Street Fighter 6 is here to dominate the fighting scene. Critics and fans alike are raving about this latest installment. Street Fighter 6 showcases a ton of different ways to play throughout a variety of game modes. Fans of single-player games can rejoice because World Tour is awesome. In this mode, you'll create a fighter using an extensive suite of tools that rival any character creation currently available in fighting games. After creating your perfect or not so perfect fighter, you'll be tasked with touring the world in search of the greatest martial artist in your quest to become the best. Featuring RPG mechanics and a quirky cast of characters, this single-player component is fully fleshed out and hilariously fun. It really reminds me of a Yakuza game, and it fits perfectly in the Street Fighter universe. For a more competitive edge, you can take to the Battle Hub to challenge players in ranked matches where you climb the ladder, similar to League of Legends. Just be forewarned, there's some killers out there and it's a tough hill to climb, so you better be prepared to bring your A game. For a more classic Street Fighter experience, you should check out the Fighting Ground, where you can take on friends or CPUs in an arcade-like setting. No matter which mode you choose, the game is more accessible than ever, featuring dynamic control types tailored for beginners all the way to series veterans. It also features auditory cues that respond to your moves and actions, which is super innovative and opens the game up for a lot of different people. Whether you're looking for a fun single-player game, a perfectly fine-tuned fighting game, or a classic Street Fighter experience, this game checks all of those boxes and then some, securing its spot on our list. We'll have to wait until September to see how Mortal Kombat 1 fares, but it's very clear it better hold back no punches, because Street Fighter 6 is standing its ground firmly as the best fighting game of 2023. Rocking its way into the number 3 spot, HiFi Rush is an action-packed adrenaline rush that flew under the radar for the most part. This game is surprisingly made by the team that brought us the Evil Within games and couldn't be a further departure from the series. Tango Gameworks has some serious range. HiFi Rush is an action-adventure game where everything you do revolves around the beat of the music. Seriously, everything. Whether you're fighting enemies, solving puzzles, or platforming, it all flows with the beat. Even the boss fights and cutscenes are perfectly synced. It's a remarkable achievement and culminates into an unforgettable original twist on the genre. It's reminiscent of Jet Set Radio from back in the day, and that's freaking awesome. I absolutely adore Jet Set Radio. The story centers around Chai, an inspiring rock star who gets into a freak accident at a cybernetic implant facility and ends up with a music player embedded into his chest. What ensues is a hilarious journey to take down the same heinous corporation responsible for these implants one beat at a time. The writing is genuinely funny, the characters are memorable, and the presentation is incredible. Also, if you're into some badass boss fights, then HiFi Rush has you covered. Some of these fights are insane and I love them. And it wouldn't be a music-based game without an epic soundtrack. Featuring music from Nine Inch Nails, The Black Keys, and even Wolfgang, this game will keep your head bobbing and your ears jamming. It's also available on Xbox Game Pass, so if you have a subscription and haven't checked this one out, please do so. It's so worth your time. This game could easily be in the conversation for Game of the Year, and I wouldn't be mad if it won. However, as you'll see in our next two entries, this year has already produced some masterpieces, so good luck. If you're a fan of rhythm games like Jet Set Radio or Metal Hellsinger, searching for an original experience, or just want to play something that was clearly made with passion, then let HiFi Rush be your antidote. I hope you love this game as much as I did, and HiFi Rush definitely earned its spot in our top 3.
This is most disturbing.
Jump scaring its way onto our number 2 spot. Resident Evil 4 not only fills the monumental shoes of its predecessor, but surpasses it in a lot of ways. Capcom has been on a tear recently with their handling of Resident Evil remakes, and this is no exception. Hell, it's possibly even better than Resident Evil 2 Remake, and that was amazing. Just like the Dead Space remake on our list, Resident Evil 4 faithfully recaptures the original game and bolsters it up to modern standards for the newer generation to experience all over again. Whether you played the original game or this will be your first time experiencing this masterpiece, you are about to witness survival horror perfection. Resident Evil 4 is that good, and you can take that to the bank and cash it. You once again take the role of Leon, an ex-Raccoon City police officer on a mission to find and rescue the president's daughter. Except there's one problem. She's been abducted in Spain by a cult of parasitic villagers who make the normal zombies of the series look like child's play. The remake includes several meaningful upgrades, including the ability to parry, stealth mechanics, and getting rid of those awful QuickTime events that are so 2005. Do y'all remember when just about every game had those QuickTime events? That was a real tragedy. There's also a plethora of customization, new weapons, including my personal favorite, the Bolt Thrower, a crossbow designed with stealth in mind, and much, much more. I've been playing this game on a regular basis on my Steam Deck, and I'm amazed at how well it actually runs. It's so impressive. So what are you waiting for? Come experience a game that defined a generation of survival horror and an outright masterpiece. I love Resident Evil 4, and I'm pleased to say I love the remake just as much. Resident Evil 4 would almost end up in the number 1 spot 9 times out of 10, but not this time. And it goes to show you how significant the first entry on our list is. But first, let's take a look at some honorable mentions that were good games but didn't quite make the cut.
This sanctuary is but a vision.
You have no idea how big this whole thing is.
It should come as no surprise that the best game of the year so far and number 1 on our list is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. The only games I could see dethroning this absolute legendary game for Game of the Year is Spider-Man or Starfield. And yeah, that's gonna be quite the task because make no mistake, Tears of the Kingdom is on another level. Take everything Breath of the Wild accomplished and crank it up to 11. Now you have Tears of the Kingdom. This is not only the best game on Nintendo Switch, but it's absolutely in the argument for the best Nintendo game, period. Yes, period. There was this magical moment when I first started playing Tears of the Kingdom that brought me back to playing Ocarina of Time for the very first time. The sheer scope and size of this game, given its running on the Switch, is mind-blowing and continually found ways to take my breath away. If you don't play another game this year, make it this one. It has everything you want in a Zelda title and introduces some mind-boggling physics-altering gameplay that's so clever and innovative I cannot praise it highly enough. I'm giving zero spoilers about anything, just go play the game and thank me later. And if you don't have a Nintendo Switch, I'm sure you can find a way to play this game some other way. Wink wink. Well, there we have it, the top 10 best games of 2023 so far, and we still have half the year left. I really hope you all enjoyed the video. I put everything I had into the making of this one, and if you want to show your support, it's as easy as clicking that subscribe button. We are currently on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and that's just the beginning. So come along for the ride and join a growing community on the come up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Wealth Gaming.